Okay, good morning. Myself, Dr. Inku Bora, Assistant Professor in College, Guwahati. Today, I'm going to discuss with you about scope of sociology. So, first of all, it's very important to know what is scope of sociology. First of all, you just remember scope. That means area of study, or you can see that's about the inquiry, field of inquiry of subject matter. Study of sociology, it is organized within a specific boundary and which is known as the scope of sociology. So, without a specific boundary, it is very difficult to study a subject systematically. Therefore, it is necessary to distinguish the boundary or scope of a subject. If you see in context of sociology, there are two main schools of thought among sociologists who discuss the scope and subject matter of sociology. These are formal school or specialist school of thought, and next one is synthetic school of thought. So, in context of formalistic school of thought, you will have to remember the German sociologist Zosimal. He is considered as one of the founder of formalistic approach. So, formal sociology, it classifies and analyzes the pattern of interaction. It differentiates between their form and content. The supporter of formal school of thought are like Alfred Vierkan, Leopold von Weiss, Max Scheber, Albion Small, Ferdinand Tönnies, E.A. Rose, Park and Burgess. They are most important supporter of this school. So, according to the school of thought, if you see the subject matter of sociology, according to the school of thought, that the subject matter of sociology cannot study social life as a whole. Hence, the scope of sociology is very limited. They consider sociology as a pure and independent science. However, the views of the supporter of the school of thought regarding the scope of sociology, if you see, that are different. If you see the Zosimal interpretation, if you see Alfred Vierkan interpretation, that are very different and that need very elaborate discussion. But today I'm not going to discuss about it. In the next video, definitely I will discuss about the different thinkers' interpretation about the scope of sociology, particularly from the formalistic point of view. So I will discuss this in the next slide, but today I will just give the brief point here. Next, about the synthetic school of thought. So, if you see that according to the synthetic school of thought, they discuss that sociology should be a generalizing social science. So, it came into existence in reaction to the formalistic school of thought. It tries to make sociology as a synthesis of the social sciences or a general science and encyclopedic. So, according to the school of thought, the scope of sociology is very wide and all-inclusive. And if you see the main interpretation of this school of thought, according to them, different aspects of social life are interrelated. We can't understand society with the study of one aspect only. Hence, sociologists would attempt to study social life as a whole. So, sociology studies the whole of social life, and therefore, the scope of synthetic school of thought is very wide. So, the main advocates of this school of thought are Emil Durkheim, L.T. Hofhaus, P. S. Sorokin, Maurice Ginsburg, Karl Mannheim. And if you see the Alex Inkless and many others, actually, that discussed about the sociology scope in a very broader perspective. So, if you see the Professor Maurice Ginsburg, he opines that a study of social relationship must remain barren if it is conducted in the abstract without full knowledge of the term, which in concrete life they relate. So, if you see the main views of the advocates, that is about Emil Durkheim, who said about generalizing science, he said about society, sociology studied society as a whole. So, in that way, actually, they studied, if you see the interpretation L.T. Hofhaus, if you see the interpretation P.S. Sorokin, that are very different. But they mostly discuss that the scope of sociology is very wide. So, we should study the different social aspect in a broader perspective. So, this is about, in a very simple term, about the scope of sociology. So, definitely, it needs more elaborate discussion on it. I will discuss this in a different slide about the views of various supporters, synthetic school of thought, and formalistic school of thought. For today, I briefly discuss about the scope of sociology.